Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to talk about some books that took me on a wild ride. I'm so excited to talk about them. I took all of, I think, June and July, hitting my glasses, June and July, reading through a series that was highly talked about on all of BookTube, Bookstagram, Book everything, and I was like, I feel the peer pressure. I've got to do it. So I did it. And I'm talking about the Sarah J. Maas A Court of Thorns series. It is, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books. And they're your good little chunkers, you know? They're about 500. Last one was about 800 pages. They're chunky little books, and they're all fantasy. I would say they're adult fantasy. I saw somewhere else on Bookstagram today that they said there was young adult fantasy. I would say there's a lot of adult content, in my opinion. So, and two, that's a little disclaimer for any of you who have convictions about more graphic adult content in your entertainment, like movies, shows, books. This is not the series for you, because there is lots of language, sex, violence, lots of triggers with a lot of very heavy subjects, but at the end of it, it's so good. It is so good. It was everything I expected it to be. I was, again, real hesitant going into it because I was like, everyone raves about it. What if I hate it? So the first book is A Court of Thorns and Roses, and it's about a girl named Farah who ends up in the fairy world through a series of unfortunate events. And let me see. I don't want to ever give anything away. I probably should have prepped for this more. She gets held prisoner and she is adapting to her new home, but there's an ancient growing shadow, Tamlin and his world forever. And Farah must find a way to stop it or doom Tamlin and his world forever. So this introduces us to Farah, and it's so good. It is so good. So I was hooked. Book 1. This book continues on with Farah, and she undergoes more trials than one human woman can carry in her heart. Though she's been granted powers, she has a marriage to the main male character in this one coming up, but she's getting nervous. And then we figure out what happens with that. And then some of the wars and things start in this book. This was my favorite of the whole series. I don't want to spoil anything, but if you know, you know. Oh, this is my favorite. I literally like ate this book up. It was so good. I loved all the war. I loved all the romance. I loved everything about it. And then we get to A Court of Wings and Ruin, and Farah has to return to somewhere she didn't want to go and meet with someone she didn't like anymore. And then there's other, I'm trying to remember how it all went, because again, I don't want to like spoil it at all, but I mean, this is all on the back of the book, so I don't want to spoil. But this is the third, and it is full of war, full of twists and turns, and just things that you're like, oh my gosh, what the heck is happening? What is actually happening? I loved the battles. Again, I love the love that's in this book. It is so sweet. Like, I just don't want to say, because if you haven't read any of it, it will spoil everything. It'll spoil everything. So okay, then this is a little teeny one. This is A Court of Frost and Starlight, and this one was just so sweet. Like, I feel like I want to read it again come Christmas time, because it is set during their winter solstice, which it sounds a lot like our Christmas celebration. This one is full of found family, which I really loved. You get to see a deeper look into some of the relationships that you have been following in just a different light as they're preparing for a holiday. So it caught me off guard because I didn't really think that after all the war that we experienced, that it would just be like a sweet, I mean, there's some drama, of course, because it's a fantasy romantasy, but overall so sweet. And then the way it ended, the gift she gives her love, so good. And then we get to the last book, A Court of Silver Flames. Now I would say this is the spiciest of books. It has the most sexual content, like a lot. It pushed my boundaries at times, but I was so obviously hooked. Well, I can't get them all. Hooked to all the characters. By the time I got to this, I was like, I'm pushing through. I don't even care. And the main characters of this one are in your other books too, but they take more of a focus, more of a spotlight. And Nesta, all I have to say is Nesta, I saw myself in her so much. I cried so many times during this book because some of her self-talk is like literal things that I've written in my journal that I've said to myself, and to hear it coming out and then seeing all the people rallying around her to help her get better, and same thing, feeling the same support in my own life. Like, it was just, it hit so close to home that I could not stop crying, and it was so good. I definitely 5 out of 5 all of this series. I would say this one hooked me. This I will probably reread 1,000 times because I just love it. These two were like good. I felt like it kept the plot going, it kept everything good, and then this truly was like the cherry on top of the whole series. It left me wanting more. I have heard that we may be getting another book in this series, which please, because I feel like one of the characters did not get enough love, and I don't know what happened with her, and I want to know what happened with her, because there was stuff talked about the whole time and we kind of got left on a cliffhanger there. So I could see there being another book with her being the main character. And again, I'm trying not to spoil anything, and if you know, you know. I do plan on doing the Thorn of Glass and the Crescent City series. This one, like I said, it took me all of June and July to read. So I was fully immersed in this fantasy world for that whole time, and frankly I just needed a fantasy break. So I'm doing a lot of rom-coms right now, just kind of breaking it up. And then I know, like, I'm the kind of person who, once I start a series, I gotta keep going. I have to know how it ends, so that series becomes my only reads. And we're getting into a season of where I want to be reading like mysteries and thrillers and things like that. I really want to read Fourth Wing as well, so I kind of want to put Thorn of Glass and Crescent City on a little pause. I'm thinking January will be my time for them, and they're chunkers too. They're really big books, but those series are also set within this world, is what I understand. So I'm really looking forward to that. But I highly, like, if you haven't read fantasy, you don't know if you like fantasy, you hear me saying the words like fairies, don't think of it like Tinkerbell, because these are not your Tinkerbell type of fairies. These are hardcore warrior fairies. And I think in mysteries and fantasies, fairies are a little tougher, but this was my introduction into like a fantasy series fairy, and I'm here for it. I am here for it. I definitely feel like I will reread these at some point in my future because I loved them so much. I want them to be movies, I want them to be shows. This was my entire personality for 2 months. Loved these books. Pick them up. Again, disclaimer, if you don't like violence, sexual content, seeing words. Why did I say that like I was 5? Bad language. This isn't for you. If you are not married, my stomach's growling, sorry about that. If you're not like a married woman of mature age, don't read these. If you're one of my younger viewers, I don't think they're appropriate for a younger audience. There's just too much dealt with. But if you are older, mature, this is your book. This is your series. Let me know if you've read these, which one of them was your favorite, because I know there's like mixed reviews. Because I know Court of Silver Flame was a lot of people's favorite, but A Court of Mist and Fury was I still think about it. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like, subscribe, join my tribe, comment below what your favorite book is, or what your favorite fantasy series is, or just fantasy standalone, so I can pick those up, because I feel like winter will be my fantasy time. So, but right now, you know, we're getting ready to do some fall reads, some Christmas reads. And I do want to do Fourth Wing before I dive into anything else. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you in my next one. Bye!